Good evening. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes to spend a little bit of time with us. My name is Jody McNamer, and I'm going to let each one of you introduce yourself. The intent of the time that we're going to have together is simply to have a community meeting. We're going to talk about what's happening in your community. So with that, we'll do some very quick introductions and we'll get right into the program. Keith, you want to get us kicked off?
Sure. My name is Keith Walker. I am a loan officer at Gold Star Financial here in Puyallup, Washington. I've been in the business for several years and come from a real estate family. So I've always enjoyed this ventures and look forward to working with any of you at any time.
Cool. David.
Yeah, I'm David Sturm with Sturm Property Group. Karen and I are partners here in the community of Tehaleh. We're residents here. We just moved in about a year ago. We're excited to help other people find out what we've discovered and being advocates for them as they move into the community. So we're excited to be here and offer some good information to our neighbors.
Perfect. And Karen, how rude of me. It should always be ladies first. Ladies first. So I apologize for that. Tell us a little bit about you. Oh, let's see. I think you're muted, but we can read lips. Oh, are you there? Hey, now we got you.
Okay. Well, like David said, we're new to Tehaleh residents, and we actually moved from King County about a year ago. We love it down here and just made tons of friends, and I'm happy to be here to share our experiences with other people.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Perfect. So we're going to get right into the deck, and then we're going to talk a little bit about specifically what's happening in the community. So you'll see our faces here every once in a while. Welcome. This really is a neighborhood meeting. The intention of the meeting really is just to provide information. This is our third meeting, and really it's just community-based. Tehaleh continues to grow. It continues to change so quickly. So really this forum is about making sure that you're up to date on what's happening inside the home centers, the building initiatives that are going on, all of the home sales data, how that affects the price of your home. And then also we're seeing investor activity, more condo and transitions market. So we'll let David and Karen speak to that, as well as Keith, throughout this program. So first of all, who are David and Karen? Well, they are real estate professionals, quite frankly, extraordinary, specializing in Tehaleh. So if you happen to be a homeowner in Tehaleh, highly recommend that you get in contact with them. They also have some very super cool custom-made Tehaleh t-shirts that you absolutely have to get a hold of, because they're limited edition, most likely selling on eBay for hundreds of dollars at this point.
Yeah, right.
So all puns aside, really, David and Karen, they really are fantastic people to work with. Keith Walker, Gold Star Mortgage, again, absolutely amazing. Born and raised in this particular area. Boy, rates unbelievable right now, so definitely take advantage of that. So that's it for the sales pitch right now. I'm glad that each of you survived through that. My name is Jody McNamer, born and raised in this area, and I love real estate. I happen to, over the last 3 decades, as you can see, I have no hair. I've been involved in working with real estate agents, communities, investing in communities, and evidently that makes me some type of thought leader and expert on real estate. So my feeling on that is that I don't know that you're ever going to be an expert in real estate, because there's always too much to learn. With that being said, I'm very familiar with the Tehaleh area. Actually used to ride motorcycles in that area. But it really has been extraordinary in seeing all of the builders and having an opportunity, again, actually, to know them from years back. Really, disclaimer here. While many other people call us experts, we like to think that we know what we're talking about. Ultimately, we're not giving you legal advice or accounting advice, real estate. We are sharing from our perspective as experts that work in the community every day. So we believe the information is going to be the most accurate and up to date, but it's really also up to you to make sure that you're making informed decisions that are good for you. So there's quite a few, there's a lot going on, and you already know all of the builders in your particular area. So what's happening with those particular builders as it relates to home sales? Well, this is quite interesting because the graph starts in January and then of course ends in this month. And if you take a look at this trend that's happening, excuse me, this was January of 2019. This is January of 2020. So you can really see the year over year comparison, about 15 less sales. Well, this is actually where we ended up in this flat area of COVID first coming on. But notice what's happening. There's a steady increase in sales, and now all of a sudden we've got a decrease. Well, that may shock you. You may go, oh my goodness, why aren't we seeing home sales continue to climb to their original levels? Well, the answer to that is because there's less inventory. You'll notice also a trend could also be quite alarming, meaning that the closed transactions are going down. Oh my goodness, is that an indication that something is wrong? And the answer is no. The inventory actually tells the story. 90 days ago, there were 73 properties that were for sale. Currently, there's 66 for sale. But we can see that inventory is continuing to decrease. So while inventory decreases, meaning that there is a lack of supply or less of a supply, demand stays constant, if not going up. So what does that do to your home price, your equity? It literally, in this particular case, some people would say skyrockets. Now, how do you define skyrocket? Well, you know what? More than a little. So you can see year over year, we're seeing some pretty significant appreciation, and we're going to continue to see that as well. So David and Karen, I think you've got some updates on what's specifically happening inside of Tehaleh. As you can see, you know, this is a massive plan. There's a ton of building that's going to continue to happen. So perhaps you could provide, you know, some updates on what's happening in the local community.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I was down there talking to the Newland folks at the Post, where their kind of headquarters are, Cafe d'Arte there. Anybody that lives here knows that's kind of the hub of the community. And they gave me a number of 2,109 homes have sold so far in Tehaleh. And I think anybody else that knows here, works or lives here, knows they're going to be building up to over 9,000 homes here when it's all said and done. And our particular street and neighborhood is almost ground zero. They are building homes left and right, as everybody knows, throughout the entire community. So all builders are in full construction mode and full swing right now with what's going on. I did talk with them. They've scrapped the tour of homes. So we know that being in the community here, that was somewhat of a congested time. There's a lot of movement, a lot of action in the community. Well, now that's going to be August 22nd, all online. They're going to not videotape, but go live in 10 different homes throughout the community to give people a sense of what it's like here. So all eyes will be on Tehaleh August 22nd virtually. Just a few other updates. Harvest Fest has been canceled, but you know what? It'll come back next year. They had the zip line out there. It's kind of a fun thing that happens in the community, but unfortunately, they had to move on with that. But the other good news is the playgrounds are open, so the grandkids can go out, the kids can go out, take advantage of one of the best features of the community, of all the parks and playgrounds in the area. So, you know, and Karen was talking to the people down at was it Lennar Homes?
Lennar, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And kind of giving them some update on what's going on with Lennar Homes as well. If I could hand it off to her.
Yeah, I went down there a couple of weeks ago because I was kind of interested in some of the lower price points homes that were available. That's the number one thing I hear complaints about is people think they can't afford to get into Tehaleh, and it's just such a beautiful community. People really, really want to be here. And so there's two builders that are doing the cottages, which are the smaller homes. And Lennar was one of them. And I went and viewed one of their open houses. It was just gorgeous. Everything's included. You don't have to worry about, any upgrades because it's all included. And those price points are, let's see, they're $425 to $450. They have 7 more left. So you might want to get on that if you're interested. And then they also are building townhomes down by Discovery Park as well. So for the first 4 buildings have been completely sold out. They're 2-story townhomes. They have the 2-car garages, and those start at $290. So with the interest rates today, it would be a really good way if you're either up, if you just want to get into Holly as a new resident, or you want to downsize. Those are just a couple of really great options. Can y'all hear me at all?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I had to turn my audio back on. Yes, we can hear you just fine.
So did I.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good, excellent. So we'll get back into the slide deck here real quick. And as you can see, Tehaleh really is just an absolutely massive project, but that's fantastic. So what is going on specifically in real estate? Well, this actually happened to be an article back in April, and why I kept it is because it says real estate will boom once coronavirus threat is gone. Go ahead, put your house on the market. This really has proved true. The people who put their homes on the market early, remember the graph where there was the dip? The people who put their homes on actually ended up commanding the highest price for their homes because people had actually pulled their homes off the market. They also enjoyed reduced market time. Well, now you see all of a sudden what used to be the spring buying season now actually moved into summer and ultimately fall. Unfortunately, it seems like fall sometimes here at the particular taping of this of this show, this program in August. Really, again, and I think that this information, as we brought you 3 sessions ago when COVID was just hitting, I think it's just a really good example of you need to make sure that you're working with real estate professionals that understand the market, right? And none of us can predict the future, but what we can do is learn from the past. And we can also take a look at all of these different economic indicators that ultimately then allows us to build this pretty dang good hypothesis of what's going on. And that's why we're giving you this advanced knowledge of what's happening here as well. So what's the trends? What are going to be happening in the next several months? Well, believe it or not, mortgage rates will likely drop even more. And I know that sounds crazy, but in every recessionary period, we've seen a continual drop in interest rates. And it sounds like it's just, again, how can it be in the sub 2% we're talking about right now? Keith, perhaps you can give us an update on what's happening just with rates and mortgage, because I've been in real estate for 3 decades. I've never seen anything like it. Okay, Tom, we'll turn your mic on too. That makes it a little bit easier. Of course, we are practicing lip reading here just a little bit.
Sorry about that. But yes, I was saying neither have I. This is definitely an unprecedented time, and money's never been cheaper to borrow.
That's true, right?
Yeah. So
it's like you can't afford not to, it seems like, right?
Right, exactly. So I would definitely, there's 2 trains of thought. So, obviously if you do have a mortgage right now and your mortgage is over 4%, you might be knocking on your loan officer's door just to figure out what you can save, because rates are in the 2s, and it's been pretty consistent for about 3 to 4 weeks now that I've been pricing out loans in that 2.8, 2.7, 2.6. So it's starting to creep down there. And like I said, an awesome time to buy. Tehaleh's an awesome place to buy. So again, you're getting more bang for your buck right now than ever before. I mean, ever.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary. So whether it's you're looking to refinance your home, potentially purchase maybe even another home in Tehaleh, whether it's again just oftentimes moving the pricing to a 15-year mortgage now, it really is extraordinary. But I want to focus a little bit on what's happening potentially with the investor market now. There are certain areas, again, of Trilogy that can be rented. Am I understanding that correctly, Dave and Karen? And if so, could you tell us a little bit about potentially what the play could be there?
Yes, well, in Trilogy, of course, you can rent right away. In Tehaleh, in the general community, you have to live in it at least 1 year. But so if you're a resident that's been here for at least a year, you have that option where someone coming in new does not. And in Trilogy, you can do it right away. Matter of fact, Karen and I took advantage of that when we were building our house that we rented from someone who just bought theirs but wasn't ready to move in yet.
Yep. So again, I mean, this is a really, really interesting opportunity in Tehaleh because not only do you see this continued appreciation, but you also see this very high demand, right? So people, we're in this a little bit of try before you buy, world as well. And so whether their home has been contracted for but hasn't been built yet, but they're interested in immediately engaging with the community, what a great opportunity to have a rental home. The other areas too, especially like Trilogy, same kinds of things. And I think another really, really interesting play on all of this is that when you have a home, in Tehaleh, you've lived there for a year. And again, we're not tax experts. We're not giving you any advice, but it could be 2 years where you live into that home, and there could be some tax advantages then of potentially having that home as a rental and then moving to another. I've known many people that have used that and just lived in their homes and then ultimately rented them out. Another interesting play, and this is a trend that's happening, and oftentimes people don't like to talk about it, but this is just the reality of what happens in the market, is that we are seeing, because of the financial situation that we're already in, and some people would say we're just about ready to hit some of the worst parts of it, not necessarily high-tech jobs or jobs that really can be online, but manufacturing jobs, specifically Boeing, as well as people that are being furloughed, laid off. These folks do have nice homes. Potentially they cannot afford a mortgage payment that would be 2 times what potentially a rent payment would be. So those homes actually may go into foreclosure, or they may decide to just go ahead and leave that home, a cash for keys. What that's going to create is an even greater rental market. So we're going to see this transition now from a buyer's market into an investor market. Now, this is going to happen over a period of time, but markets are cyclic. We've seen it literally every 10 to 15 years since real estate records were started to be created. And what happens is you move again from this buyer's market to a seller's market to an investor market. And that's just what happens. It's because home prices go up, they become unaffordable. People still can qualify for a mortgage somehow. And then ultimately they end up losing their homes because they're just so on the edge in order to be able to hang on to that house. So as a potential investor, boy, it really is an interesting place to take a look at investing. So if you have additional questions about that, definitely. I don't know if we can have a virtual cup of coffee or hit up Dave and Karen to have you DoorDash a cup of coffee over to you, and then you can, drink it on Zoom. Have a lot of fun. It'll be excited. Maybe David will even play you some music, as
Absolutely.
I hear
Yes.
you've done before. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, one of the great things about being in the community, of course, is being a part of a lot of groups that get together. We had the Wave at 5 for a while, and right before COVID, we got a group of guys together to play our guitars. As kind of a community entertainment, so to speak. And then when COVID shut down, we had the club, Seven Summits Lodge here in Trilogy, did a talent contest just to keep people interested and excited about their talents. And we got a group of guys together, and we won this talent contest. So we're excited to be a part of a community where that's kind of a fun thing to do. So another example of what it's like here.
Super, super cool. Now, I alluded to these limited edition T-shirts that they actually, David Carr. Now, because David won the talent show, you may even have him sign one of those T-shirts for you. I'm just saying,
I'll need to grab one here. But they are a lot of fun.
They double in value immediately.
Absolutely. It's a play on words. It's a fun T-shirt. I think you guys check out my social media. You'll see it. It's all over.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, I think you're definitely starting the Tehaleh trend with a Tehaleh fashion trend, actually, which I think is great. So other trends that we're going to see, because Keith had said, refinances will continue to increase. Why? It's because you really can't afford not to right now. I mean, money is so cheap. It just is something else. And I think what's interesting about this too is it says, for example, rates fall to 3%. Some 19.4 million homeowners will be refi eligible. This, again, article, why I left it in here is because it almost kind of, again, if you attended session number 2 of our community meetings, you're seeing that, right? You're seeing that happen. In fact, we're now seeing that we are in the 2% area. So boy, I'll tell you, it really, really is an extraordinary time. So who do you want to call in the case for any questions on loans? Absolutely, Keith is amazing. We'll make sure that emails go out with the contact information. And of course, our host, both David and Karen, absolutely gracious. Really, really appreciate you hosting these, taking your time to do that, the expense to do that. Clearly shows that you're vested in the community. So thank you, very, very much, for doing that. So perhaps tell us a little bit more about what you've got going on specifically in Tehaleh and what you've been up to.
Well, great. We bought back in November, so we're settling into our own home. Karen can probably speak to her landscaping prowess that she's in her gardening prowess, which is great. But we also have the opportunity right now to we're taking advantage of all the trails that are around. So we're doing Tehaleh trail talks that we just love talking about what there is to do in the community, what there is to see in the area. Residents who have their own businesses here, we highlight them, and we're starting a new series with the builders. So you can get to know what builders are here and what they're all about and what's the difference between them. So we've been up to that and really just enjoying communicating out there what it's like to live here to highlight what's going on. So maybe Karen could talk to she's been in and out of town, but she's here now, and we've got some green beans on the counter and some tomatoes for dinner tonight from her garden. So
perfect.
Yeah, I have one pale red tomato, but I was reading another community post, and they're like, everybody's complaining because their tomatoes are still green. So
I was pretty happy that
mine had a little bit of color in it. So, I had been gone for 10 days, and when I came back, the garden had just grown so much. And in a way, it made me kind of sad because I didn't get to see it. But I'm sure it'll keep growing. But I had been playing a lot of pickleball this summer, but I was on hiatus for a little bit because I had a hamstring injury.
Oh, no.
So I know. So but I did do a really great YouTube video with another pickleball player who she's so nice and fun. And I just really encourage people that are interested in learning about it to definitely check out that video or just show up on the course because we'll be happy to show you how to play. And, well, I did go and talk to, went down to Wesley the other day and talked to Lisa. And the campus down there is just growing. Wesley is a 62 and older community that's going to have different apartments for different levels of care that people would need as they age. But like the first apartments that they have that are completely independent living. And they just have a lot of amenities. I won't get all into it today. I'll save it for another day. But it's just been really fun getting to meet the builders one-on-one and learning everything they have to offer because it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Tehaleh is, I mean, it's just extraordinary, the growth, and it's extraordinary, the diversity of it as well, and the activities like pickleball and the trails. And I highly recommend that you do check out the Sturm Property Group YouTube channel. There's some great stuff. And the other thing that I think is so great is that, David and Karen are absolutely 100% vested in this community. They're all in. And the other thing that I also think is extraordinary is not only are they all in from a community perspective, but they're all in from just purely an expert and understanding what is happening in the dynamics of real estate. So it's really being able to help you make an informed decision that's good for you. So not only are they nice people, they know the community, but they really are the trusted authorities, the experts in Tehaleh, simply because they live there and they're just very good real estate agents too. So again, highly recommend that you check out the YouTube channel, the websites at sturmpropertygroup.com. You'll find a wide variety of great things. And the other thing, again, I'll just go back to this T-shirt. David, do you have an official reveal on this T-shirt? Or tell us what you've got going on. I'm going to put you on the big screen. I'm going to put you on the big screen here. Hold on. It looks like it's a reveal.
Yeah.
That's right. I put David. It's so top secret that he's got to actually go get it from the vault.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how top secret this thing is.
The big reveal, man.
I hear exactly. Pounding. He's running.
I was going to say, all we do now is a drum beat.
That's exactly right. So yeah, I'm gonna officially put you on the big screen here. So Tehaleh, I just love this, right? I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. It's just really, really great stuff. So how did you come up with the idea for this, right? And it is these things. I mean, people are wearing these things now. So how'd you come up with this?
We can't keep them in stock because when we first got here, people were like, "How do you say Tehaleh?" To Denali. No one could get it right. Even we couldn't get it right until Karen was talking to somebody. And Karen, what did they tell you how to remember?
Oh yeah, so I was when we were buying our home, I was like, how do you say it? Like I felt, pretty handicapped that I couldn't say this word. I'm like, how do you say it? And she said, well, it rhymes with tamale. And so that just stuck in my head, and I've always been able to pronounce it ever since. So it's not an easy word. Like we make jokes about, whenever we're in the car and we're asking Siri how to direct us to Tehaleh. And I mean, she really slaughters it. So yeah.
That's great. Well, I'll tell you, in closing, I really do encourage you. You actually could, instead of me and my big bald head, this could be you in this Zoom meeting. If you have questions about real estate, replace you for me. Keith and Karen and David, They really are. You're in such great hands. So I'd encourage you to set that up, set up the Zoom meeting virtually. It's painless, and you will get your specific questions answered. And in any session like this, it is the general update because it has to be, but each, individual results may vary, right? And individual homes may vary. Individual situations may vary, right? So, ultimately you do need trusted professionals that have your back, right? And can help you make really good, solid decisions. So with that, we are at 30 minutes and we promise to be prompt starting and prompt ending. All good meetings end on time. So we'll look forward to seeing you on the next community meeting. Thank you very much for investing the time, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
There. See ya. Bye.